All right. Officially welcome to SlideHub Q2 product webinar, the evening edition, as we call it. It's now sort of 10 p.m. here in Copenhagen, so we'll be doing this special edition for our clients in other time zones. Just going to give people a chance to join, but while we do that, maybe we can just do a quick mic confirmation. So can someone confirm that the chat or that the sound is good by just writing something in the chat? Right, perfect. Very cool. All right, so for those of you who haven't been on webinars before using Microsoft Teams, you are actually able to scroll sort of throughout the presentation. You can even start the videos if you like, but if you just sit back, we'll do our best to manage the show for you. In general, so we very much welcome any form of comments and question throughout the webinar, and we'll as default just try to answer them as they come in. Also, the webinar is anonymous, so other participants can't see your face or your names even when participating in the chat. So don't hold back for any reason. All right, I think with that, well, let's dive into the content. So this is what we're going to cover. I'm going to do a really quick introduction of myself and of SlideHub. Then we're going to talk quite a bit about automation today. Then we're going to dive in on some of the specific product updates in Q2, and then also look a bit ahead on what's coming in the coming month. And then we'll open up for Q&A. Right. Quick introduction. So I am Anders. I am one of the 3 co-founders of SlideHub. I have a background as a consultant. So I used to create a ton of PowerPoint slides. I think I, on average, did somewhere between 20 and 40 new slides per week for 2.5 years at McKinsey. In addition to that, I am also a lifelong programmer. I've been programming since I was in high school. So with my sort of combined CEO, CTO role at SlideHub, I get to really combine these 2 passions of mine. With me today, I have my 2 co-founders, Rune, who's heading our customer success team, and Lasse, who's our COO. And then they also help out with potential questions in the chat, and I'll also pass the mic to Rune in a bit. All right. So as I mentioned before, we'll talk quite a bit about automation. Automation is a really big topic in the new features and also some of the things to come. But to kind of set the context, I'm just going to recap what SlideHub actually is for those of you who are not familiar with the SlideHub solution. So one way to think of SlideHub is that it's a presentation and document management and automation software that helps end users streamline their creation of new documents and slides. The focus is very much towards creating a very, very simple end user experience. So at one end of the scale is really about simplicity, helping users find on-brand assets, but also customizing using automation when creating new decks and new documents. At the other end of the spectrum, we have a focus on making the managers of the content able to do a large degree of customization and using data to better improve and sort of optimize the experience for the end users. So at one end of the scale is really about simplicity, and at the other end, it's more about adding more sort of various different powerful features. All right. Today, we're going to focus a lot on this sort of second pillar related to customization and automation. All right. So to sort of introduce this topic a bit more, I'll share a few thoughts about the way we at SlideHub in the product team particularly thinks about automation. And of course, the reason why we care so much, I think two sort of reasons why we see a growing number of clients really sort of adopt this concept is one that show in a typical sort of fast-paced business environment, having what we call control automation is something that can really help to prevent human error. We've probably all seen documents that by mistake contain the wrong client name, or where a placeholder for some reason has not been filled as it should, which of course can cause a lot of frustration. In some cases, be a really big also legal issue. Another thing is that without sort of a proper automation platform, we also see a lot of people sort of rely on outdated slides and materials, sort of reusing things from their desktop instead of using something like SlideHub to make sure you always use the latest material. And then particularly when it comes to Word documents, we kind of see situations where people end up using the sort of wrong legal documents because their solution doesn't properly allow people to quickly edit their drafts in a way that's compliant with the internal legal requirements. On the more sort of go-to-market side, a big reason for investing into customization is that a number of different research shows that by customizing sort of the go-to-market material, it really substantially increases the impact it has on the reader and the sort of the effectiveness of the material. Some studies even indicate that the average read time of a presentation that gets sent to someone increases by more than 50%. And that's where we see the ability to use automation and leverage the assets of a platform like SlideHub can really help, implement automation in a smart way without making it a massive time investment for the people preparing the material. Then another thing, when you talk about automation sort of in 2025, naturally a lot of people, think about AI. In general, we're sort of very optimistic about AI in SlideHub, and we will also later today present some new AI features. But we believe when it comes to document and presentation creation, the approach that is sort of using more predictable, reliable sort of automation is still preferred due to the sort of the importance of not having too much randomness in the things that gets created. So. But now the AI is not a core part of the automation module yet at SlideHub for these reasons. All right. When we talk about automation, one of the things that's important to understand is the different ways that we can adjust documents and slides. And we have, in general, these 5 different types of placeholders, where placeholders are a way to make a customization. We have both the ability to customize the standard text, to change entire sections in Word documents, replace images, but also to update icons and potentially insert sort of logos via our existing sort of logo feature. Additionally, we can also update data points using a date picker in the documents and slides. The way sort of we think about automation and the way it gets implemented into the platform really sort of is an extension of the way we think about the product in general. So to us, it is of very, very high importance that the end user experience is as simple as possible. So for end users, automations can really be seen as 2 things. One is to fill out these very simple forms where you can see an example here. And the other is to fill these, fairly simple placeholders. And so for the end users, that's really what the only thing that's required is to make those fairly simple decisions that then automate sort of customize the document. To make all this sort of work, behind the scenes, the content administrators, of course, need to do some work. And the way to kind of think about it is going through sort of 3 steps. So the first step is to analyze the document of the presentation and identify where can we embed these placeholders. It could be, in this example of an employment contract, things like department, name, dates, titles, and so on are obvious things to sort of include these placeholders. It could also be images, icons, and so forth. Then the next step is to figure out which questions can we ask the end user that can help us fill out and automate as many of the different placeholder items we defined in the first step. So we will try to think about, okay, is there a way that we can ask the user one or two questions that might be able to influence a number of the placeholders. Once we sort of define the form, the next step is to build the logic. And this is where you go in and define what happens when an end user fills out a certain question with a certain answer. What should then happen to the placeholder in question? These are the 3 steps. It's naturally a bit more complicated to set this up on the admin end than it is to fill out as the end user, but we are sort of in general really striving to make the admin experience also fairly intuitive. And in general, the experience that's associated with setting up Word documents, as we'll focus on today, is very, very similar to what we'll very soon release for presentations as well. Once you learn one, you can implement it in both types of assets. Very cool. All right. If we take a look at what is new in Q2, you also see why we are emphasizing so much this concept of the placeholders, because in Q2 we have released the section placeholders in Word. We have released icons and image placeholders both in Word and in PowerPoint. We also released the ability to use our existing logo feature to quickly find the right on-brand logos for a very, very large number of businesses out there, and then embed those into the documents. And lastly, we also released the forms that kind of really tie all of this together. The last sort of major thing that we released in Q2 is the AI-enabled chat that Rune will speak a little bit more about. So naturally, given this sort of fairly high requirements to get full value out of the automation, and natural question is like, okay, how do I get started? So with that, I'll pass it over to Rune.
Thank you, Anders. Yeah, and I think you may know this already, but in case you're new, then SlideHub works on an unmetered approach when it comes to customer success. So whenever we are teaching you something, we're doing it together. That's part of the package, and we are happy to invest in a long-term partnership. We can also set up forms and a logic on your behalf if it's not something you want to spend time on your own. We have clients where we have done it together with them. We also have some where they have just paid us if it's some of the more complex work. So just let us know if you want an introduction to this, if you have some new team members who would like an introduction to this, and then we can either figure out if we do it together or you pass it on to us and we can do it on your behalf at an additional cost. That being said, I'll now go into the AI feature, and the idea here is not that we're gonna at least for now build new slides. The AI-enabled chat is a way to use your existing material, the repository, to answer questions. I'll just go ahead and play the video and then give some examples of how clients are using this right now.
Next to the regular slide search, you can now use AI-enabled search to find information more efficiently. To access it, simply go to the SlideHub library, click the search icon drop-down, and select AI-enabled search. From there, just type in your question or topic, and the AI will generate a response based on relevant slides from your library, along with the slide references so you can see exactly where the information came from. This feature is especially useful when you need quick insights, want to understand the topic, or create new content based on existing slide materials. Keep in mind this feature isn't designed to find specific slides. Instead, think of it as a knowledge assistant, providing quick insights and helping you extract up-to-date content thanks to regularly maintained slides managed by your admins. By default, this feature is disabled for existing clients, but enabled for new ones. As an admin, you can change this setting anytime by going to Manage View and then clicking Account Settings. Click Security and scroll down to Enable AI features. There you can enable or disable it based on your preferences. The AI-enabled search is powered by TypeSense combined with Cloudflare's AI workers. For those interested in technical details, you'll find a link in the description explaining how your data is handled. One of the key reasons we chose this approach is privacy. Cloudflare does not store any input or output from the AI model, and it's never used for training purposes. If you'd like to learn more, please don't hesitate to reach out to our customer success team.
Thank you, Timea, who created this video. And as Timea mentioned, this AI feature is not something that we use to train any sort of model on our own. We kind of taking a security first approach. If I just need to quickly explain a couple of use cases where we've seen this be beneficial with some of our clients. One place we've seen it is in resumes, so you have some different people who have capabilities within a given industry or might be subject matter experts in a topic, and then you can write in the chat, can you help me find some slides based on somebody with experience in the automotive industry and change management, and then the AI can then find the examples and will of course also provide the sources, so the actual slides underneath. So I would encourage you to probably get this approved with your IT team first, and then switch it on and try to play around with the tool.
Perfect. Thanks a ton, Warren. So, very cool. So before I dive into a few other highlights, I also want to take this chance to actually demonstrate the form experience and some of these placeholders, how that actually work on a real case. With that, I'm just going to share my screen and show you this thing in Word. So here you can see I have the SlideHub add-in for Word running. And I then go in, and the purpose of this is to build an employee contract. And I think what's really important to stress here is that I know the majority of you are focused on PowerPoint for financial reasons, but what you see here works 99% the same way in PowerPoint as it does in Word. The PowerPoint sort of equivalent is something we're going to release tomorrow. So you can basically imagine something very similar for PowerPoint coming live really soon as well. All right, what I'll show you now is how the placeholder functionality work without forms, and then show the power of the forms afterward. So in this case, we are building an employee contract, and what you'll see here is all the different placeholder steps that I need to go through to kind of build the contract. So in this first step is to identify my termination clause. I have two sort of sections here I can insert. One is one for an executive and one for a non-executive. In this case, I'll pick the executive version. Here, there's an ability to add an additional section in the benefits part related to the executive benefits. So I'll add that one as well. In this case, I am asked to determine the sort of working schedule and classification. Since this is an executive person, I will pick the one that is full-time, which is this one over here. Then, since I am in this case creating a contract for a salesperson, I'll pick this sort of sales icon to add a little bit of visual flavor to my contract. Then, because the person is going to be hired in Portugal, I'll pick the Portugal background image to, again, make it look better. I will add a name here. He will be Chief Sales Officer. He will start in the month. Here. Then let's say that I will be the supervisor. It would be in Portugal. The salary would be very high. And mostly in Portugal. I'll be the one signing it. My role is CEO. And it's the sales department. Okay. So you can see you had to fill out a meaningful number of different placeholders. The system will then go in, optimize the image so it fits the right size of the document. It will put in all the different sections, and it will then fill them out. So, and then it would generate the contract. So you can see it has the new background. You can see we have all the information that filled in the placeholder has been added to the document. It has the additional benefits section. It has the extended termination clause and so forth. And you can see that I'm the signing person in the end. So this is showing you both the section placeholders, the image placeholders, the icon placeholders, and the normal sort of text and date picker placeholders. But there was no forms. So let's try to see how this works with forms. So if I now find the version with forms, embedded, I have it in here. With forms, I will now try to open that. So once I click this, you'll see now that I am asked a few questions that can sort of help automatically filling out the placeholders in the background. So I'll see that the supervisor will be me, and the person will be, let's say this time is going to import Mexico, and it is still an executive. Cool. We're going to click continue. And there you can see that all the section placeholders and icon placeholders and so forth are not showing anymore. And that's basically because they were automatically filled based on the logic that sort of ties the forms together with the placeholders. So now I only need to add the name here, change the date, and so behind the scenes, it does more or less the exact same thing, but the sort of the applied logic basically just reduces the number of end-user steps that's required to make it work. There we go. So you see this time it's the Mexico picture. It fills out the name, all those different things. It added the extended termination clause. You can see it automatically filled out that I'm the one signing it. This is my extended title, and so forth. So still the same level of customization, but a much simpler end user experience that reduces the need for knowing, all these sort of implicit logic that was otherwise used before. Let's jump back to the presentation. Cool. All right. So as mentioned before, this was the biggest push by far in Q2, getting all this functionality. As mentioned as well, the same experience is going to be available in PowerPoint as of tomorrow. One of the differences is that in PowerPoint you don't have sections, but you have variable slide groups instead. So you can basically use the logic to predefine, specific slides and specific positions inside of the presentation. See, we are running a bit short on time. Other sort of highlights to mention really briefly is that we added support for slide and category ownership. That means that especially if you are in a larger organization with many library managers, you can now go in and assign a specific ownership both on an asset level, but also on a category level. Another noteworthy feature is this fixed slide set, where it's basically as a type of presentation that has the special property that the slides that is part of that set cannot be inserted on their own, but it can only be included as part of that given set. So this is particularly helpful if you have a certain storyline that should always come in the right order, or if you, for example, have a compliance disclaimer that needs to always go with a certain data slide and so forth. And then I love to bring attention to our recent product update. So as some of you might have seen, it will also be available on our blog really soon. In that product update, there's also a very rich description of a lot of these new placeholder features, including how you actually set them up on your own account. So I'll really sort of encourage watching that as a sort of a potential next step if you want to have a look before you potentially reach out to our customer success team. If we look ahead and what's coming next, then we have a brief roadmap overview here. The things I would like to point out is one is the link slide functionality, and then also the send and track of presentations. So link slides is a feature that supports this scenario that some of you are probably familiar with, where you have one root slide. It could be, for example, a pricing slide in English, but you might be working in a scenario where you have, also a Spanish presentation, for example, and you want to make sure that those two slides are, they are connected, even though they would never be in the same presentation. And this is where you can link the slides. So what the link slides will do is that once the root slide gets updated, the manager will automatically notify that the link slide should also be updated. And in the same way, we can sort of show the end users that sort of link slides exist and use that to optimize the version warnings for the end users as well. So that's quite a few cool things that feature will sort of enable. The other functionality is the send and track presentations. This is basically a way where SlideHub will generate a link that can be shared with the receiver of a presentation, and then allow that receiver to watch the presentation in a sort of a browser view that will then also sort of enable analytics on whether the presentation is being viewed, and eventually also which slides is being viewed as well. Additionally, this is a way for the people sort of using SlideHub to be made aware if some of the slides they have sent to a client has been updated, or potentially like update the thing that have been sent to the client indirectly through the link. There's a number of pretty cool sort of functionality that will be enabled by that feature. All right. In addition to that, there's going to be a number of different features related both for end users, but also a number of sort of improvements to the existing management experience. Right. We're running a little bit out of time. We'll send out the presentation afterwards, and in that you will see there's also a bit of a deep dive into a number of the other features that's coming in the coming months. And with that, we sort of we reached minute 29. So now I just want to open up for potential questions or clarifications or comments of any sort. If anyone have anything at the time. Otherwise, if you're watching the recording of this, or just in general for all you, the rest of you as well, you're also more than welcome to reach out to any of the three of us directly. You can see our direct emails here. But yeah, I'll just leave the video running for a few more minutes in case someone have any outstanding questions. those you see, the first people have started leaving. So for the rest of you who doesn't have anything else, I just want to say thanks, Sun, for your time, and hopefully we'll have a chance to connect in a less anonymous way down the line.
Thanks. We will we'll give the kudos to Paradoon. I'm sure he's gonna appreciate that. Thank you.
Definitely. Very cool. All right, I think with that seems to be
Thanks
the
for your
last
time.
comment.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, someone is writing. Very cool. Awesome.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, we'll share the recording. Maybe we'll mix it up. We did a previous one earlier today, so it's either going to be this one or it's going to be the previous one, or it might be a mixture. But we'll make sure that nothing gets lost. So yeah, thanks a ton for your time, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.